finally we can, after we explained this whole idea of shinuy mareh, we could take a look in the Rambam, and we'll try to explain something that it's a problem, and a lot of sefer. There's a sefer from Rabbi Kalkstein and Chazon Ish also that try to explain this, so I don't want to address the problem. The Rambam says, Perik Shiva Aser. He starts, Perik Shiva Aser, Halacha. He's born in the Ayurech Be'ezen Mazlu. Im Yeba Mazlu Toleh, Tigra Amina Oirech Edition, Tisha V'chamisha Chalakim. 59 Chalakim. Gives a nice, almost a full degree. Now that's the next line, very important. Im Yeba Mazlu Shoir, Tigra Amina Oirech Maila Achas. A full degree. Here is problematic because didn't we just show, and it's simple, we can show on a picture, on everything, that the biggest inclination is when Taleh is on the horizon. Show the chart for that, and it's obvious like that. So why does the Rambam jump by Shoyer? He gives a higher. He said that the bigger the inclination is, the more shinuy oirech there is. And here we see that by Shoyer he gives a higher norm of shinuy oirech than by Taleh. So I'll tell the answer that Rabbi Kalkstein says. Interesting answer. He says like this. Look what the Rambam says. The Yareach. What is by Shoyer? The Areach. Now, the Areach is by Shoyer. Means that the sun is, let's say, 20 degrees. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But to make things more understandable, let's say use 20 degrees. Because we're talking here in the time when the Areach and the sun are apart. So if the Areach is by Shoyer, so the sun is 10 degrees in Taleh, because the Areach is ahead. So that means that when are we talking? When the sun is setting, about sunset, a little bit after sunset. So the inclination of the ecliptic is the highest. Why? Because right now, which point of the ecliptic is on the horizon? 10 degrees of Taleh. That's very high. Masha'inkin, when Taleh means that, doesn't mean your sun is by Taleh. It means the Yerech is on Taleh. And the sun is 10 degrees of Dogim. Mele, it's not such a strong inclination. This is what the Teretz, I'm using a little bit exaggerated numbers. It doesn't say 20 degrees, but just to illustrate the idea to enter the Rambam. Okay, now I'm not going to go through the Rambam, it gives you all the numbers here. It's based on this, as we said, there's a certain formula, and we use a very simple formula for this, even though we can make it more complicated, the spherical trigonometry, but it's a very tiny difference. It doesn't pay. You just use, like, imagine, as we showed here, we use simple trigonometry to that's a shinuy mareh. It gets lower on the horizon about 1 degree. It's 59 chalakim and something. This is the angle here that we highly exaggerated. That's the shinuy mareh, how much it gets lower on the horizon. And as we said, this causes an effect on the shinuy oirech and the shinuy oirech. Okay. Let's see if you can see any other good pictures here. Okay, that's it. Now, the Rambam goes, explains, Lomba Goyrem, Halakim Eida Lochavav, Shamakim Eirecha, Miti Eina, Mokan Shirboy, Elushinu, Yesh Ben Aim, Baoirche, Benoiche, Hiu, Anikra, Shinu, Yamar, It's always a deduction. Again, you can see from this picture, no matter what the situation is, since it gets low on the horizon, it always MB is, and it causes an effect of MB and M prime B. Both of those are a deduction. It makes it a negative. Goyren chalakim shel shinuy amar roichev min haroichev harishon. Roichev d'roimi meisif on chalakim shel shinuy amar roichev al roichev harishon. So the Rambam says, in our language we would say it's always a deduction. But when you're talking about the roimi, it's a roichev d'roimi, so it's called an addition because you're adding to the deduction. This picture only shows when the roich is on the ecliptic itself. But you can easily make a line here parallel to this and show when it's a few degrees away from the ecliptic or this way. Whichever way it is, you're going to draw this final line that makes the shinuy mareh, you're always going to end up deducting the oirech and the roichav. In the Rambam's language, when you deduct the roichav, it's called your moisef. I'm sorry, when it's roichav deroimi and it's called adding because you're adding to the negative roichav. You're adding to this. It's really minus. It's always going to be this direction here, minus the roichav. Always down means this direction. As you see from this and this, always going to be somewhere deducting this way and deducting this way. I'm sorry. Deducting this way in the oirech, deducting this way in the oirech. But kam im chalokim shemisif and the goyernoisam. Now the Rambam turns to the roichav. Till now we discussed the roichav. Now you see again the same sequence here. Let's see. Im yebe mazel to le tisha chalokim. Again, he gives a higher. Here, shoyer gets higher than telet. I don't know why. Here it doesn't. What I said before, it should have been the opposite. Should have been shoyer should get a lower one. So I don't know. We'll just continue. Mazel to umam. You see, it gets higher and higher. Miznaim gets 46, the highest. That's this picture here. 46. The roichav here has a huge change. 46 chalak. And this doesn't matter. Even if the moon starts off here, you can draw a line here and you can deduct whichever. You always end up the same idea that from every you're starting off with, you draw a line straight perpendicular to the horizon, and then you end up deducting a major part of the roichav, a big part roichav and a small part roichav. Ma'achar halacha tes ma'achar shetei da chalakim elu tigra oisam na roichav v'yishna toisaf oisam olav k'moy sheda nucha v'yetz alacha roichav hasheni v'yadaitar mutzfoyin yoydroimi v'tei da kama mailas agam chalakim naisa da roichav hasheni v'tochen oisam v'necha v'yas. So, Baruch Hashem, we finished now. A big subject. Halacha Yud is already brand new stuff. So, to sum up, we have now Oirech Sheni and Roichav Sheni. Oirech Sheni means the Oirech after adjusting the shinuy mareh, because of this, as we explained, the moon has a shinuy mareh, the way it's seen for somebody on the surface. It's lower on the horizon. That changes the oirech and the roichav. So when we want to know where the moon is visible, lamaisa, we must make this adjustment, and that's where we get this. It sounds very small. It's less than a degree, but still makes a difference. So we have to do it. We have to adjust the new values that will be called oirech sheni and roichav sheni, the new values for the place of the moon, where the moon is seen in heaven, for a guy standing on the surface of Earth. And Baruch Hashem, we finished this. We are just the next part, Halacha Yud. Yud and Yud Aleph. Is going to be the idea that's called Oirech Shlishi. So we know Oirech Shlishi is the third adjustment. We have already the new longitude. We know where the moon is. Let's say we finally found out the moon is 34 degrees and the Roichab is 5 north. That's positive 5. 34, 5. That's the Oirech Sheni. But we'll make another adjustment. That's going to be called Oirech Shlishi. Why do we do this and what it's all about? We will leave the Be'ezer Hashem Yisbarach for the next year.